Okay, so we're back. It is day 5 of our 12 days of living artists. And today's artist is a poet. I don't know if you've noticed the pattern, but we're going visual artist, then poet, and so on and so forth. But today, I want to introduce to some and remind others of Jericho Brown. So, Jericho Brown is an amazing Pulitzer Prize winning poet. His poetry talks about race, it talks about spirituality, he talks about identity. So there's a lot of different things and different topics that you can dive into when dealing with Jericho Brown. So he is from Shriver. I can never say this right. Shreveport, Louis. He's from Louisiana, y'all. Okay, look, I can't say it, but that's where he's from. And his poems dig deep into identity, and he has a lot of poems and topics that are very much relative to what's happening in the world right now. So, using some of his work in your lessons will definitely allow for you to have those conversations about things that are happening in the world. So you want to go ahead and explore some of that. Um, so he's not afraid to talk about the tough things. And I know sometimes we as educators don't know how to introduce certain topics in our class, but we can't ignore what's happening in the world around us. And it's important that we have these conversations with our students because while we may feel like, oh, I shouldn't talk about this or that, the conversations are happening at school. And we want to make sure that we are actually guiding the conversation and giving students a safe space and also able to, kind of take the take the reins, if you will, so that things are not just left to the wind for them to just kind of run off with ideas and not really have anything to ground them with. So we definitely want to be able to give safe space, but also have, monitored space. So that is one of the things that we want to do as well. Now, as far as a practical lesson, oh, I didn't show y'all. There you go. So, for a practical tip for something that you can do in your classroom, um, I would say you could have like a poetry sharing circle where the students are coming with either a poem that they wrote, ideally a poem that they wrote, or something that inspires them, and have them be able to read these poems and share them with the class. This allows for different perspectives and different things to be shared and to build community and to build safe space. So, being able to allow for them to have that self expression is something that we want to fully encourage. And poetry is one of the great ways to do this, right? So, open mics are typically judgment free zones where people can share their thoughts, share their emotions, and allow for different ideas and things to be heard. And I think it's a great way to go ahead and allow for your students to share what they need to share in a safe, controlled environment, of course. So, that is the artist for the day, Jericho Brown. If you do not know who he is, please, please look him up, grab his book, The Tradition, and be sure to preview some of the work and make a decision on what you can share with your students. Um, we want to go ahead and allow for them to see successful writers who look like them, successful writers who are not afraid to talk about the issues that are happening in the world. So, yes, Jericho Brown, add him to your Rolodex. Let me know in the comments. Did you know who he was? Have you heard of him? Hopefully you have. But if not, now you know. I'll see you tomorrow with our next artist in the series.